The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. This week's second hour of the John Lebang Show is now on the air. Well, the religion of pieces is back at their antics again. Didn't take long. In fact, I think it was not but a couple weeks ago I had mentioned that we're going to get back on the regular cycle of the news pretty soon. And it seems to be that way. We had Trump making news, then we had the protests, then we had the terrorist attack. The new form of terrorism. It's becoming the vogue thing. Few random guys can't do anything else, who have nothing better with their lives, who have decided that they're going to be murderers and they're going to go around and run people over, run them down. Then, because that isn't good enough, just running people over isn't good enough. They're going to then get out with their big old knives and start running around and stabbing people. It's just... And there's a lot of questions that are being asked, and I don't think the right questions are being asked, because the government, prime minister, the mayor, they're all playing the politically correct game. They're afraid to say what needs to be said. Calling a dead person a coward when they're a murderer isn't going to solve the problem. So, as I witness all this, and I've read up on the mainstream media and how they're portraying it, there's a lot of questions that are not being answered. First of all is, what provoked this attack? That's one of the questions I'm going to try to answer for you tonight. What provoked this attack? Question number 2. How do we stop these attacks from happening? Because if you listen to the government officials, they're not talking about stopping these attacks from happening. In fact, in their hidden little language, if you listen closely to what they're saying, they're telling us, whether you're in London or you're somewhere in the United States or wherever you're at, that this is going to be the normal thing we have to deal with. And we're just going to have to get used to it. Just going to have to get used to it. I have one other question, one major question, because it's based around a certain group of people that are at the heart of the matter, and that's these radical Islamic fundamentalists whatever they're reading in the Quran, whatever they're being preached, it's warping their reality, and it's turning these people into cold-hearted killers who will run people over, get out of a car and stab people in the face, who'll set up nail bombs at a concert just so they can harm young people. So the third question is wrapped around that. And that's, can Islam, in its most fundamentalist form, a non-Western form of Islam, can Islam and the West coexist? These are questions that are not being answered by the powers that be, the people that are in charge, the people who are there sending the police out after the fact. It's amazing that it's happening now. 3 attacks in the past 3 months in the United Kingdom. And why so many attacks there? Well, they have a large population of the fundamentalist variety of Islam there. They have also, on a side note that many people will just overlook, they won't relate the two, they won't put them together. It was Britain who invoked the Brexit. And that's messing with the New World Order. And we know, or at least I've presented enough information here on the John Lebang Show to show you that ISIS themselves are a product of the New World Order. If they're not a byproduct, which I don't believe, it's not by accident that ISIS was formed. But if it was, that's a byproduct. I believe they're an actual product. They're being used. They were created and are being funded and are being used to achieve some kind of goal. And right now, it looks like the people who have that ideology are at war with the entire country of England. The United Kingdom is under assault. And the only thing that I can equate this to, beyond, well, England hasn't done anything special to enrage the Islamists. So if you take that out of the equation, that they haven't actually done anything more, haven't done anything egregious from the terrorist point of view to provoke such an attack, then you got to wonder, then why is this happening to England? And I connect dots and I go, well, they're Brexiting. They're getting the hell out of the European Union. And the European Union is a New World Order coalition. So why wouldn't the New World Order, who doesn't like the idea of the Brexit, why wouldn't they invoke a little payback for the exiting of the European Union? You wonder if these things aren't going to start happening on a more frequent basis here in the United States. They've been cracking down a little bit here. You know, what's funny is right after the attack, and it's like the British intelligence agencies are taking a lead, taking the ideas from the FBI. Because obviously they knew where all the cohorts of these guys who ran everybody over and then stabbed a bunch of people. They knew it because they went out and arrested people right away. They knew exactly where to go. They went in there fully armed, ready to go. There was no mystery about it. They went in, they go, oh, time to go raid this place. And they did. Sounds like the FBI. Our FBI will talk to some of these people. They'll have meetings with some of these people. They'll even encourage some of these people to do things. And then every once in a while, one of these guys happens to get through their little dragnet. They make it through. Oops. And then they know exactly how to find the guys when they should have had them in the beginning. If they knew about these guys, if they were on some kind of watch, why the heck are they being allowed to do these things? So that's another question we have to ask. How is it that the British government knew exactly where to go to find everybody that might have been linked to these guys? And it was instantly, oh, head over there. Oh, you mean he had an ID? Is that what he had? He had an ID in his wallet with him. I mean, that's really smart. I mean, I guess you don't know how smart these guys are. They may have a very little, tiny IQ. In fact, they probably do. But you would think these guys would leave their ID at home if they're going to just go out and run people over and then stab a bunch of people. You don't make it easy for the police to just find your buddies. You know what I'm saying? The guys that also helped you plan this rampage. And it kills me because when you hear the speeches from the prime minister and the mayor, you can't say Islam. These aren't radical Islamists. Nah. They barely want to touch the terrorism word. But when the guys are running around, this is for Allah. This is for Allah. You got to wonder. I didn't know other religions called their God Allah. I don't know. Maybe some other religions do. I'm not the authority on that, but really? I mean, you got to call a spade from the beginning. And if you can't call it that, if you're afraid to call it that because you might lose your next election, then what good are you in the first place? And the people are not being served in jolly old England by their government. They're not being served kindly. Sure, they had some raids right away, but again, here's the thing. They knew exactly where to go. It's just like the FBI. Oops, something happens. We know exactly where the terrorist was hanging out. We knew all his buddies. We're going to catch him and all. And then there you go. These even on the news. If you can't find him, you put a picture on the news. Hey, can you find this guy? Call us at 1-800 the FBI catches everybody. So again, I got a question. What the heck's going on there? How is it that these people are even allowed to be in that country? You know, if you have radical background and you're suspected of terrorism and you're not born in the country, see ya, gone. You can't be in the country. Yep, we pick you up and throw you out right away. I don't care what country you're in. The United States or not, England or not, it doesn't matter. Because the safety of the citizens, the people who were born in the country, come first. And these leaders in all these countries, especially from the European Union, boy, has that just been a disaster. These leaders care about money and political correctness more than they care about their own citizens. We're up against a break, folks. Don't go anywhere. More on this subject, and maybe, if we have time, others. Stay tuned. Don't think about touching that dial.
That would be a mistake.
The John Lebang Show will be right back after this. That's guaranteed, man. Like some good Thai stick. If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain, man.
Feel smarter yet? And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we basically covered the concept of what provoked this attack. As far as I can tell, nothing provoked this attack. The only thing that makes sense is that Britain is trying to leave, or has left, in the process of leaving the European Union. Now, if it's not that, and it's just some random event by some Islamic fundamentalist who doesn't like anybody who's not them, then we have to go to the second question. How do we stop these attacks from happening? And if we know of these people, and they're not from the country that you're in, I'm going to, because of my country, United States, I'm going to focus on that. But you can put your country in up there at the header and just overprint the United States, England, whatever your country is. How do you stop these kind of attacks from happening? Well, first, I think Donald Trump, what he promised during the election, at least puts a cap on it. You don't bring anybody else in from other countries, especially the ones that are hotbeds for these kind of mentalities. But I have no problem stopping all immigration. You're done. It's over. No more for a while. You don't bring in anybody from anywhere at any time. And you just say the heck with it. Until you get a cap on this. Now, what do you do with the people that might be in your own country? If they're on some kind of terror watch list, if the FBI has interviewed them and they're not from this country, you go up to their door, you knock on their door, and you tell them to please get out. Leave. I'm sorry, we don't have a spot for you. Your visa has been revoked. Get out. You weren't born here. You have no rights here. Get out. Now, some people are going to, go up in arms about that. But the country has to protect its own citizens first. And if there are any questions at all, and I mean if the guy's on some kind of terror watch list and he's been interviewed by the FBI because there might be something there, just politely ask for the dude or the lady or whoever to get the hell out. If they don't want to get the hell out, then you put somebody and you make it known that they're being watched all the time. You stick a police car out there all the time, just watching them, just reminding them that they're being watched. You know, we play all these secret games where we tap phones and we connect into anything connected to the internet. All these secret games, you know, all this clandestine stuff. Why don't we just be forthright about it? If you're having questions about a certain whatever, you go out and you plop a police car right out there in the front because a cop can park wherever the hell they want, and you sit there and you watch them. There you go. Instead of spending all this money on technology to surveil everybody, just go out and plop a cop out there. Swap them out every 8 hours with somebody else. Give somebody a job to do. Guess that's old school thinking. But all this running around, beating around the bush, the FBI interviewing guys and then just watching them, listening to their conversations on the phone. And it's ridiculous. What is it getting the people? It gets them nothing. Over there in England, what are they getting? They're under siege. They can't go anywhere and have any fun. Just think about this. These are people just going out to relax on the weekend, going out to enjoy a little bit of freedom, the little bit they may have. And because they wanted to have a little fun, they get run over, they get stabbed. One guy's in a coma right now because he was stabbed in the face by these sickos. Stabbed in the face. I mean, what kind of whack job, what kind of nutball, how screwed up do you have to be that you hate somebody so much, a person you had never met in your life, you hate him so much you even want to stab him in the face? It's ridiculous. It's sick. It's twisted. It doesn't belong in Western society. So you want to stop these attacks from happening? You get rid of the people that are suspected of even hinting at the notion. You just get rid of them. If they are not born in your country, because there's a whole other subject. Those people, I don't even know what to do with those people. Because they have every right to practice any religion they want as long as they don't impose it. And running people over and killing people is imposing it on other people. And I don't care what your religion says. Your religion does not trump somebody's life. At least not here in the United States. Because life was the first thing protected under the Declaration of Independence. Because without life, you don't get any other rights. There are no rights. You don't have them. If you don't have a chance to live, no matter if you're a fetus all the way to Granny who's 150 years old. Although that would be a record breaker if we had Granny who's 150 years old. Sonny. So, the only way to stop the majority of these attacks is to not let them in, get rid of everybody, suggest politely, and if they don't want to leave, you make it a little bit uncomfortable for them. I'm not saying beat them up. I'm not saying torture them. I'm saying you make it known that they're being watched, and they're being watched heavily. And they don't have the freedom to just cruise around. Now, the people that are born here, the people that are radicalized and are born here, that are American, I don't have an answer for that one. It's just impossible to do anything about those people until they commit a crime, until they do something like that. You can't, because they have American rights, and that's it. But the people who are foreign born and they're here on some visa, go home, man. I'm sorry. Don't let any more in. I mean, that sounds like it's xenophobic, or it sounds like I hate Islam. It's not about Islam. It's about protecting your own citizens. And if there is a certain behavior happening with a certain ideology, with a certain belief structure, you've got to deal with it. You can't play the political correct game. People's lives are not worth PC rules. No. And these politicians that are playing the politically correct game because they're afraid of not getting elected next time around, they'll throw your life away. And they'll throw a bunch of lives away. As long as they can figure a way to stay in office, they don't care. They'll pretend they'll go to some vigil. They'll go to some funeral maybe. They'll have polite words and a bunch of B crap. B crap. I just came up with that. You know, we come up with things on the spot here on the John LeBang Show. We make things up. Sometimes it's totally accidental, like that one. On such a serious subject, sometimes a little levity is a good thing. Yet I sit here and I'm watching Western civilization get its butt handed to it by 6th, 7th century throwbacks. And it's like the governments of the world are paralyzed. They don't know what to do. And it becomes the people who suffer. The people. And as long as they can keep the number low enough, and as long as they make you comfortable with that, you get used to the fact that some people are going to die here and there because we got some crazies in our society and we're too afraid to deal with it. As long as they can convince you of that, then they can maybe stay in power long enough to make enough money to when they aren't in power, they can go on speech tours and make a fortune. And they did it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you see I'm flustered about this because this is an easy fix in my eyes. Again, you can't fix the people who were born here. You can't. I don't know how you deal with that. But the people who aren't born here and who are on watch lists. Notice I'm making that distinction, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not just saying ship everybody who wasn't born here home. I'm saying if you're on some kind of watch list, if the FBI has checked you out, the CIA, whoever, and you're not a part of this country, you go home. We're sorry. This may be an inconvenience for you, but we have an emergency right now inside our country, and we can't afford to have anybody else but our own citizens at this time. The people who aren't on terror watch lists and who are here to work and whatever, let them do their thing. We need good people, no matter where they're from. So that's the first couple questions I think I gave decent answers for. You may disagree with me. Please tell me in the chat room. Do you agree with how to handle this situation? What provoked these attacks, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know? Looking at it, do you know what provoked these attacks? And how do you stop these attacks in the future? How would you, what kind of rules would you implement? What kind of procedures would you put in place to make sure these attacks don't happen again? I've given you my viewpoints on that. When we come back from the half-hour break, we'll talk about, can Islam and the West really coexist? Stay tuned, folks. More when we return.
Don't go anywhere. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. And allow me to do a little bit of self-promotion. If you like what's going on here on the John Lebang Show and you'd like to know more, then feel free to go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. There's archives of the show, stories, snippets, all kinds of little things to keep you occupied and busy. Now, if you want to contact the John Lebang Show for whatever reason, maybe you want to send us hate mail like we got last week. Maybe you just want to send us pictures of your girlfriend, or maybe you're in a band and want to send us a song, then feel free to send it to jlebang@live.com, and please put in the header what the heck you're sending it for. Because if there's no subject line, I'm just going to ignore it, okay? Now, if you want to contact us on Twitter, or if you want to follow us on Twitter, just look us up at John Lebang. We're also on YouTube. We have 2 channels up there. You can look us up at The John Lebang Show and Banger Incorporated. Now, finally, if you're on Facebook, and I know you're on Mark Zuckerberg's Cash Cow.
Free money for everybody.
Look us up on The John Lebang Show and like that page, because we like it when you like that page. This half hour is brought to you by Pane and the Glass Window Cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass Commercial and Residential Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable minds who collaborate, must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
You know, to be honest, I really do not like discussing this kind of subject matter. I prefer to have a lighthearted show more than all this serious stuff, but when certain events happen and they keep repeating, and then I hear the mandering politicians, the idiots up there who seem to run everything into the ground and don't know what they're actually doing and don't really give a crap what happens to us little people, as long as they make their bucks, as long as they get their deals, as long as they get those vast public speaking fees when they're out on their little tours, like the Hillary over there. Can't believe people still want to listen to that lady, but people do. People listen to all these sorts of people. So the most critical question I have of the night is the one of, can Islam and the West coexist together? It's a very deep-rooted question, and I can't see it coexisting. It doesn't work well with each other. The West is about freedoms, or at least government freedoms, civil rights, so to speak. The fundamentalists in the Islamic religion, beyond any of the other religions, in the Islamic religion, the radicalized ones, they seem to hold power. If they don't hold power, try to acquire it. They do not care about others' rights, only people of their religion, and only people of their religion that they deem is not some kind of infidel, some person that just fakes the religion. And I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. These shows that I get into a specific subject and I'm very crucial and I get deep into it, usually generates some hate mail, because there's people who are devout Muslims who are going to take offense to this because they're thinking I'm talking about them. But if you guys who taking some kind of offense to my words aren't out there killing people, aren't out there calling me an infidel, don't want me wiped off the face of the planet, don't want to randomly kill me or anybody else, you're not the people we're talking about. We're speaking about the die-hard fundamentalist, radicalized Islamist, the person who just hates people because they are something different than themselves. Not only are they a racist in their own right, but they're a xenophobe. They're all sorts of things, but none of them are good. And I don't see the West ever being able to coexist with that sort of mentality. That's a 5th century, 6th century, 7th century mentality. We're well beyond that. This is where John is more of a modern kind of guy. This is where maybe I'm more liberal in my thought pattern. We don't kill people in the 21st century because we don't like them. If that were the case, we'd have machine guns on our car and we'd just start wiping out bad drivers in front of us as we drive down the road. Trust me, it would eliminate a lot of people off the road. Just like you want to eliminate everybody who's not of your belief system. But we can't do that. We don't do that. It's not what we do. We respect the other person. Even if they're a complete idiot, we respect them enough not to take them out. And the only time we try to take anybody out, I mean, the people who actually truly believe in freedom, the only time we try to take anybody out is if they're trying to take us out and we beat them to the punch. When they're busting in our door and they're going to come kill our wife or our children or something, then we take them out. You get some crazies that'll go and kill people, like in Chicago. That's another group of people down there that don't understand the 21st century. It's not even, it's more like 19th century mentality for the most part. But sure, we'll say it's 21st century mentality. We don't kill people unless they're going to kill us. That's it. Done. And the larger question beyond, can Islam live with the West, coexist with it? Are other cultures unable to coexist with a Western society that's 21st century based? Because I don't think Islam can. And what kills me, this is the thing that bothers me the most, is that people who will leave these third world nations come to the United States and then they won't try to assimilate. They bring the culture with them. The culture they were running from. They want to bring it here. They want to be rid of all that, but they don't want to be rid of all that. Seems to me that people no longer come to the United States to become Americans. They come for the money, and that's it. It's just about the cash. How much money can you make and then send home? And the sad thing about it is the politicians have no problems with that. So they let these people come in. They invite them in. Shoot, we have cities that say, come on down. We'll give you money and you can do whatever you want with it. And that's a problem in itself. There's a lot of people from these third world nations that are coming here just for the social system, just to be given a handout. And we have our own people here in the United States that need that food, that need that money, that helping. And even if we didn't, taking it from an American and giving it to somebody who's not an American just seems kind of weird. Just doesn't seem right, does it? What side is that politician on? Are they're serving the American, or are they serving the world globalist body? And that's where we're back to some of the subjects we were speaking earlier. What provoked these attacks? The only thing I can tell is that England is being naughty when it comes to the New World Order. And the New World Order and its little European Union there is very upset. So they, in my opinion, they're going to make it hard for England. They're not going to make it easy. And these attacks could be just a part of it. Sure, they're just random, right? They just randomly happen. Now, if you look over the timeline, if you look over what happened at these attacks, you'll find the number 10 comes up a lot. Go look at what the number 10 means. There's numerology out there so that you can study. But number 10 came up a lot. 10, 10, 10 this, 10 that. It's pretty incredible. That's another subject we won't have time to get into this hour. But what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? How do we stop these attacks from happening? What provoked these attacks? And the biggest question of all, can Islam and the West coexist? Please go down to the chat room or the comments section and let us know what you're thinking. If you have solutions, we'd like to hear them. Because I've given you some of my solutions, but there's some things that I don't know how to deal with. Because I'm not into taking Americans' rights away. You're born here. You're an American citizen. Your parents were American, both of them. You're born here. You're not just some anchor baby so mom and dad can move to this country. That's another whole subject that we have to deal with. If mom and dad aren't both Americans, neither one of them are an American, they moved to this country, they're not even citizens, they're not even supposed to be here, and you're born, you can't be counted as American. I don't know where you're at. I don't know how we count you. We just count you as an earthling. How's that sound? But I'm starting to go off on a lot of different subjects. Because it's all related. The problem is that we let people into our countries that had a completely different idea, completely different ideology, They do not want to assimilate, whether it be for traditional reasons or maybe hateful reasons. And now the Western nations are bearing the brunt. Look at the massive amount of crime that has been happening in these countries in the European Union that have taken on all these refugees from these countries that are from the Middle East and from Africa, primarily Islamic-based countries. The rape is through the roof in some of these countries. It's incredible. And the leaders, what are they doing? Nothing. They're playing the politically correct game because they're afraid of dealing with the situation. They're afraid to call a spade, and they're afraid to deal and take a risk because it might cost them any political capital that they may have, and they may lose the election next time around. And if they don't stay in office long enough, they're worthless on the speech trail. It's a hard show tonight, folks. It's a hard show because I'm trying not to be hateful. I'm trying to get across to you, try to disseminate my position to you in a thoughtful manner without being overly reactionary, without being too emotional, because this is horrific and I'm sick of the killing on all sides, no matter what it is. I am so tired of the killing. We don't have the right to kill anybody, no matter who it is, no matter how old they are, how young they are, if they're born, if they're not, if they're near death. It's just, we don't have a right to just murder them. If they're coming to kill us, if they've killed people, there's a different story there. But if they've done nothing to nobody and they're just out at a festival enjoying their life, their measly little lives that we, the peasants of the world, this mere little existence that we get, give us a break. You people who want to hate and kill on us, little people, we did nothing. Whatever your hatred is, whatever your problem is, it's within you. You're the problem. You're the sicko. You're the insane person. You're the one that needs to be gone, not the other people that you murdered. Gotta go to a break, folks. Be right back.
Where do you think you're going? Hey, man, don't go anywhere, man. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
Are you crazy? Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John Lebang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com. If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
All right, folks, welcome back. With all this going on, I forgot totally that we're running a weekly prize on the John Lebang Show. And it's a fairly new thing, so I'm still trying to get up to speed with it. And when I get into subjects as deep as they are tonight, and I have a lot to say yet don't know how to say it, I forget things like this. And I should tell you that if you want to win one of our fabulous prizes tonight, you're going to want to listen to Cool or Uncool, and it's coming up a little bit later here, not too far down the road, because we're winding down the show here, as well as the week for that matter. You're going to want to listen to Cool or Uncool, And then you're going to want to tell us what the cool or uncool is, and then give us cool or uncool. You'll be able to go to our website, www.jlebang.com. Go there, and it'll say win prize package, weekly prize package. You click that link, takes you right in. You fill out all your information, and then you write in what the cool or uncool was for the evening, and whether you think it's cool or uncool. Submit it, and if you're the third person to enter and it be fully completed and looks good and everything, you're going to win one of the following prizes, which is the Hardwired for Self-Destruction CD. You could win that. You could win a Jay Lebang, the Rit CD. You could win a Wrecking Crew t-shirt, or you could win a Dark Clouds t-shirt. Last week's winner was Tom Davidson from Taylor, Michigan. He won the 3-pack of tickets to see the Grunge Night at St. Andrews Hall. So thank you, Tom, for sending in your entry and winning the prize. You know, that was our first official prize in this weekly prize thing that we're giving away. So that's pretty interesting. So I don't know. I don't want to continue on the topic anymore of terrorism and what we're going to do about it and how we and Islam, the West and Islam, can coexist, because I think I've beat that horse to death. And be honest with you, I don't know how I've conveyed myself tonight. It's been a tough show. But in a shift of gears for this last little bit before we get to cool or uncool, of all places, CNN, I found a very interesting article that I wanted to discuss with you for just the last few minutes here, and that is, do you want more sex? Then you better get more sleep. That's what they're saying. But if you want to get better sleep, you've got to have more sex. So it's a chicken and the egg thing. And let me read you some of this. If you think you're too tired for sex, you're not alone. According to a large new study, women over the age of 50 who get fewer than 7 hours of sleep at night are less likely to report being sexually active than their peers who sleep more. That's probably because they're in menopause and they're getting older and they're more tired, and sex is kind of a workout. It's exercise, and when you exercise more, you tend to have more energy. And if you're just sitting around getting fat, ladies, on your menopausal cycle there, well, then it's probably more likely that you're not having sex as often either. Men with an obstructive sleep apnea, a condition marked by snoring and breathing difficulties, have decreased levels of sexual activity, possibly because they produce lower amounts of testosterone. Sleep apnea can also increase the risk of cardiovascular problems, which may be related to sexual dysfunction. So if you have some cardiovascular problems, if your heart's not pumping right, you're probably not getting enough exercise in the first place. Not only are you not having enough sex, dude, but you're probably not out there doing things. So your heart's not ticking so well, which makes you tired, which makes you not want to have sex, which makes you want to go to bed, but you can't sleep because you're having trouble sleeping because you're not having sex. And then what? What are you up to then? Then you're in big trouble. What you got to do is the reverse. You got to start having sex whether you want to do it or not. You got to start wanting to do work outside whether you want to do it or not. Get that body moving. Get that heart pumping. Then you'll start feeling better. You'll sleep better because you're tired at night. Because if you're lazy all day, then you probably aren't so tired, and it makes it hard to sleep. See how it goes? So get out there and start digging up the grass and shoveling and cutting the grass and doing all kinds of projects. And then when you're done, you're not done, because then you got to bang your wife, bang your girlfriend, keep banging her to keep your heart going, to keep your energy level up, to make yourself more virile, more strong, more youthful. And if you're more useful or youthful, the women will like you more. And especially if you're married. Because your wife's not going to want to sleep with some fat tub of lard. She don't want that. Unless you're raking in the money and you're a horn dog. And she's just like, okay, she'll take it any way she wants. Maybe she's doing it with the neighbor. You don't know. Especially if you're not getting it. And she's not in menopause cyclette.
Hey, Joan, you ready for me yet?
Yeah, come on in, Shady. We don't have much time, though.
That's okay, because we got something to do.
Well, what do you got to do?
Well, we're gonna wake up the nerd.
What do you mean you're going to wake up the nerd?
Well, he's been in that cryo whatever chamber forever. We figure it's time to bring him out.
But why are you bringing him out?
Well, we need a synthesizer player for the band, and I was watching Revenge of the Nerds the other night, and I thought, you know what? It'd be cool to have a nerd in our band. So I said, let's get him up, let's thaw him out, and let's put him in the band.
Was there going to be any danger to his health?
Do I look like a doctor to you?
It just sounds risky.
Well, sleeping too long is risky too.
This hour's cool or uncool is...
If you can't get with the program, then get the hell out.
What's that referring to, Shady?
Well, what you were talking about earlier, John. If people can't come here to live in peace, then go back to where you came from.
Our first call is coming from Chicago, Illinois. Peppa, what say you?
This wouldn't happen if President Obama was in office.
Lady, it was happening all the time. You're just too dumb to pay attention.
Oh, snap!
Shady, don't talk to callers like that.
That's right!
I only talk nice to people who are smart.
Oh, baby, I passed the first grade.
Thanks for your call. Our next call comes from the United Kingdom. Henry, what say you?
It is unbelievable what the Prime Minister is saying.
Well, that's because you guys speak funny English. Nobody understands you. Next caller.
Over to Washington, D.C. You're on the John Lebang Show.
We have a dysfunctional immigration system which does not permit us to know who we let into our country, and it does not permit us to protect our citizens properly.
Okay, thanks for your call. You think he calls us before he tweets, or he tweets before he calls us?
Does it matter, Shady?
Well, I'd like to be the first place he talks crazy to.
There's no location on this next caller, Shady.
Well, that's because we don't know where she's calling from.
She?
That's right.
It's not Hillary, is it?
No, thank God.
Well, who is it then?
It's Bionic Boob Lady.
You mean Ditzy?
Damn right.
Ditzy, welcome to the show.
Hi, John. It's just so unbelievable, John. What's going out there, John? And I just don't know what to do about it, John.
So I'm taking it you're calling in as an uncool?
I don't know, John. I can't make up my mind.
Now, what can't you make up your mind about?
Oh, I don't know. By the way, did you get my latest pictures?
You sent me pictures?
In your email, John.
Is that it?
Yes, John. Bye.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Where is she anyways?
Yeah, I don't know. Ever since the surgery, she's been gone.
Can I see those pictures she sent you?
I don't know, Shady. Let me check them out and see if they're private.
Well, I know they're going to be private. She's going to be showing you her bionic boobies. I'm out of here. See you at band practice, John. Bye.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another week of Sonic Vibrations in the can. I'd like to thank all of our affiliate networks across the world, into the galaxy, throughout the universe, and beyond. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Go there, find the little link for the weekly prize. Sign up for the weekly prize. Tell us your answers, and you might be able to be like Tom last week and win one of our cool gifts. Thank you all for giving me an hour of your time. Maybe you gave me 2 hours. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John Lebang signing off from the Banger Studios.
Same station.
Did the doc bring him out yet? They're pulling him out right now, Uncle Shady.
Yeah, they're in the last stages. Now they're just defrosting.
You know, this beer's warm. You think he'll mind if I set it on him for a little while to cool it down? I don't know, Uncle Shady.
Well, you better ask the doctor on that one.
Hey, Doc.
Please state the nature of your medical emergency.
Oh, there's no medical emergency, Doc. Just a beer emergency.
I'm a doctor, not a brewery.
I just wanted to know if it was okay if I set my beer on him for a little while so he can cool it down. It's a little warmer than I prefer.
What do I care? Now will you stop interrupting me? I'm busy.
No problem, Doc. Thanks a lot.
All right, now we're going to wake him up.
Slow your roll, Tin Can. I know he's like your buddy and all.
Welcome back.
Where am I?
You're in sick bay.
Is this Star Trek?
No?
How long have I been out?
About 6 months.
Oh no, all that valuable time lost.
You want to be in a band?
Are you hungry?
No, but I gotta use the bathroom.
Hang on, I'll put in a catheter.
That's probably not a good idea.
Too bad.
Oh!
Alright, I didn't need to see that. Yeah, neither did I, Uncle Shady. Let's get out of here. We'll see you later, geek.
Okay.